Finally, some good news, am I right? Seriously though, aside from what is arguably the biggest news in the nation, which is certainly taking a toll on anyone trying to keep up with it, there hasn't been too many ridiculous events to talk about this week that wouldn't fall under the weekly weird news territory. So instead, let's talk good news for a change, right? That way everyone leaves this video happy. The comment section will be pleased. We'll all have a good time. All right, wait, hold on. Actually, we should really get this slightly bad news out of the way first, because as you're all aware by now, this new channel relies almost entirely on support via Patreon from lovely viewers like you. And a pretty severe problem hit Patreon this week, right as everyone was excited to start a new month of funding.
Yeah, so this hasn't affected our Patreon all that much, probably because we're a bit lower on the typical scale of active patrons compared to others who've been on the platform for months or even years. But according to an article on The Verge, Patreon acknowledged that a higher than average percentage of payments were not going through or were just being declined by users' banks, with one rep from the company saying the problem stems from their efforts to create a stable and global platform as we grow and invest in our capabilities. So basically they changed something internally, and this somehow triggered the banks to decline the payments. So if you do contribute to our Patreon, just check and make sure that it went through. Or if you haven't signed up yet, well, this is a great time to let you know that this channel is so far 100% funded entirely by people supporting us on the Patreon platform. So if you have a few extra dollars or you're rich as fuck, head to the link in the description below to support this show so we can keep making fun of everything forever.
Yeah, but back to the good news. We will have new posters and postcards for our August Patreon supporters. All right, sorry, no more Patreon talk, we promise. But we hope that you understand that reminding you does help bring in more support, which helps us pay for things like the room that we're standing in. But on to the good news. You may have noticed that for some strange reason, Guy Fieri's name has been popping up in news feeds and social media more and more recently. And it's not because you fell asleep with a Triple D marathon playing in the background, although I'm sure most of us have at one point in our lives or another. It's because the man's a goddamn hero.
Yep, this past weekend in Redding, California, as deadly wildfires destroyed hundreds of homes, caused the evacuation of thousands of people, and resulted in already 6 deaths. When's the good news come?
It's here.
Guy Fieri didn't just try to invent a better fire hose, despite having no prior knowledge of how fire hoses work or how to battle massive wildfires.
That would be stupid.
Why would you do that? No, he showed up with 20 volunteers, he built a temporary kitchen, and he got to work cooking for thousands of people in need, while also taking time to credit the local area chefs for their contribution as well, saying in one particular Instagram post, "Chef James from @Sheraton Redding stepped up huge with his pasta salad and coleslaw for 1,000 people for lunch and in for another 1,000 tonight. Real deal. Somebody wants to tell me."
No. We'll get to that too, though. But luckily, he didn't call the other chefs foodophiles. I'm sure there's a proper term for that, but anyways, when speaking with reporters who approached him for an interview regarding his charitable work, Fieri was quoted as saying, "It is unbelievable to see what folks are going through, but also how great this community is. We are in tough times in the world with all the things going on, and boy, you take a moment like this and you really see what America's made of. A lot of great people coming together."
Anytime I see a Guy Fieri quote, I picture in my head like he's chewing food while he's doing it, because Djibouti Dubs ruined Guy Fieri.
You know, you did a great job, but maybe next time a little bit more cream, huh? But yeah, great stuff. You want to make out?
Seriously, though, the man's a hero. We should stop making fun of him, all right? It is very easy, but...
Yeah, he makes it pretty easy for us.
He's good Guy Fieri.
He looks like a Hollywood Hulk Hogan fan who just took his fandom a little too far.
Well, his look brought him to where he is today and allowed him to be as charitable a man as he is right now. So let's all
the end justifies the means.
Let's all just take a break and congratulate Guy Fieri for this charitable work. Now, this isn't the first time Guy Fieri has rolled up to the site of a disaster in what we can only imagine is his cherry red convertible featured in diners, drive-ins, and dives.
Hey, you guys got a fire going?
Stop! He was also on site lending his talents to those affected by a similar fire that broke out last year where he's lived for nearly 30 years, Santa Rosa, California. Guy pulled up his wood oven, rolled up his sleeves, and got to work feeding around 2,500 people, which included displaced citizens, firefighters, and on-site military personnel. Now, sure, a wood brick oven.
Yeah, he did get a little bit of flack for that. It's like...
Because it was just billowing smoke.
Yeah, it's already smoky as fuck out here. Why are you cooking on a wood-fired grill? But, you know, still good intentions.
Very good intentions, and he fed people, and everything turned out fine.
Out of the kindness of his heart.
And he's doing it right now. as well.
He's up there, he's sweating, his hair dye is flowing down his face. Anyway, since we're on the topic of Guy Fieri, we should also probably mention that the conspiracy theory about how Guy Fieri and the singer of Smash Mouth are the same person has officially been put to rest. Because back in late June, while Smash Mouth was performing in Northern California, Guy Fieri came out on stage to show the world that they were, in fact, not the same person.
Yeah, that's good news.
So, good
Another
news.
conspiracy put to rest.
Close the book on that one.
Yeah.
Moving on to even more good news. Clark Kent has set a new record. Now you're probably saying to yourself, well, that's not fair. Of course Superman could beat any record he wants to. Also, hold on, Superman's not real. This Clark Kent, however, isn't even old enough to hold down a job at the Daily Planet. But apparently he's old enough to dethrone Michael Phelps and set a new record for swimming.
Yeah. 10-year-old Clark Kent Apuada has only been swimming competitively for 4 years. But last weekend, he broke a record held by Michael Phelps that had gone unbroken for 23 years by finishing the 100-meter butterfly a full second faster than Phelps' previous record. Now, according to his very proud parents, he's not just an incredible swimmer. He also plays piano, practices martial arts, writes computer code, and has joined multiple STEM programs. So he's basically done more at 10 years old than either of us, and probably a decent number of you, have ever done. So even though this is pretty uplifting news in general, it kind of makes us feel bad for ourselves, so let's move on.
Yeah.
Not doing enough.
Fuck you, Clark Kent. You overachieving ass.
Anyways, moving on.
Here's some good news. LeBron James, who is a member of the Los Angeles Lakers, which I will once again start watching after a 5-year hiatus. Still sounds weird to say that he's a
Laker, yeah.
He's a Laker, but that's cool. He has opened up an $8 million public school for at-risk kids in his hometown of Akron, Ohio.
Akron.
Fuck.
You uncultured swine.
The school will be called the I Promise School, and its inaugural class will include 240 3rd and 4th grade students, but it'll add grades each year until the school can support 1st through 8th grades, which will be around 2022.
The school will feature a longer than normal school day and extended school year with summer courses focused on STEM. This will make it easier for parents to work without having to pay additional fees for after-school programs. The school will also provide students with free breakfast, free lunch, free snacks and drinks. It will also focus on accelerated learning. It'll provide job placement assistance for parents, feature on-site food banks, support students with stress from economic causes, and he's provided every new student with a bicycle. Also, we'll be guaranteeing free college tuition to the University of Akron to all graduates starting in 2021.
That's kind of a big one.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, you're also going to college for free.
And, you know,
hey,
you can't go to college without laptops. And you're gonna need batteries.
Hey, Mr. James, what you gonna do? What you gonna do to make your dreams come true?
God, even good news we kind of shit on, which is bad. I'm sorry. We're so sorry.
LeBron James is a very, very rich man.
Yeah, not Michael. Michael Scott is not a rich man who made big promises.
He is
also a fictional character like Superman.
Yeah.
Why isn't Superman helping at-risk kids? Oh, because he's a fictional character.
So I think he's probably gonna be able to follow through on his promise here.
Yeah. So, holy shit, right? Good guy LeBron James.
The king.
And while
he's our king here in LA. Big fan.
Yeah.
Big Laker fan over here.
So while this whole thing, for some reason, might sound like an extravagant idea, it's probably what should be happening at most public schools in the country, considering this country wants the best and brightest coming out of the classrooms. I mean, it goes above and beyond in a lot of aspects, but like providing basic meals for students.
Yeah, school should be pretty thorough and, dare I say, extravagant.
In some respects, yeah.
If you want your, the next generation of people to
Depends
succeed.
on what your end goal is. If your end goal is just harboring students in one location until they're old enough to do whatever the fuck they want, then we have a great program.
It was my understanding that school was just sort of kid jail, so I can go to work and not have to worry about it.
Anyways.
Yeah, so this next story, we're not actually sure if it's good news, but it's cool to see if you're someone who grew up with this console like we did.
Yeah.
The NES was officially the best-selling console in June of this year. It beat the Xbox, it beat the PS4, and it beat its much younger and quicker sibling, the Nintendo Switch. So that's pretty incredible, and sure, part of the reason it's even able to move more numbers is the fact that it costs a fraction of the others, and also the demand for a console that's over 30 years old. It's quite impressive, but it's a lot of this is false scarcity.
Yeah.
Which is
annoying,
not anymore.
But not anymore. No false scarcity now, and that's why it's able to put up these numbers. I was in Target this morning and it was completely filled with them.
Yeah, I've seen a bunch of them on sale.
So once they all came back, the hype was there, but it's like still, for a console, it's 30 years old. It does come loaded with a bunch of games, but it's crazy how many units this thing is pushing for being something that's just a 30-something-year-old console.
Yeah.
Now, what's even more impressive is the fact that the console was only officially available for the last 2 days of June.
Oh, damn.
So it sold more units in 2 days than the other consoles did during the entire month. And it would be pretty safe to assume that with the NES Classic being available for the entire month of July, it might beat them again. Although I'll throw in a variable here because Octopath Traveler came out as a Switch exclusive in July, and that game is quite popular, so I'm sure it got some more copies of the Switch moving. And also, I know if they're gonna buy a PS4 or Xbox, probably own it already. But with the way that they're putting these systems out with slight upgrades and new versions, you could see how it could sell more. And regardless of all of that, a console that's over 30 years old, outselling newer consoles right now, is crazy. Especially with the PS4 releasing incredible console exclusives like God of War and the soon-to-be-released Spider-Man game, which you would assume could sell more consoles. But a fucking NES Classic is just dominating, just shitting on it.
I mean, I know a lot of people who have them who aren't even gamers, but it's a nostalgia purchase.
Yeah, they owned it when they were young. They get to play Super Mario again, and
it's cool. It's a small price to pay for your childhood.
It's very cute.
Yeah, doesn't take up much space. Has a small footprint. The cord's way too short, but
you can buy extended cords now, so that's good. Anyways, hey, it's a sort of good news episode.
Yeah, good news.
Hope you guys like that. Again, it would be great news if you went to our Patreon page. The link is in the description below. And whether you got $5, $1, $10, or you want to get some of those.
Or $100 million. Hey, LeBron, big fan.
Joey Salads, what are you doing? You're sitting on a nest egg. Sponsor the channel. New posters and postcards going out for the month of August. We have some other special gifts in mind for people that have already contributed a good amount. But yeah, check out the Patreon. Thank you very much if you do that. Check out our other episodes over here. We have a brand new episode of Tech News Day. And by the way, if you're listening to this on a podcast, be sure to rate it 5 stars or whatever the hell the rating system is wherever you're listening it, because all of our episodes are on podcast now. Just search Internet Today or Weekly Weird News and you'll find them. So that's it for good news.
Now back to the bad news.
Now to the weird news.
The bad news is the video's finished. Bye.